Last couple of things along the neck. Solid upper neck masses. 3. Carotid body tumor, vagus nerve schwannoma, cervical sympathetic schwannoma. I am not interested in how they look. I know the location is upper neck. Simply by anatomy, I have to differentiate one from the other. Simply by anatomy. So what does a carotid body tumor do? It encircles the bifurcation. It sits in the crotch of the bifurcation. So the bifurcation is within the tumor. Anatomically, the bifurcation is within the tumor and the tumor sits in the crotch of the bifurcation. I don't care how it looks. I know where it will be. What about a vagus nerve schwannoma? We saw the vagus nerve on anatomy when I showed. A vagus nerve schwannoma simply grows between the carotid and the jugular vein. It separates the carotid from the jugular vein. So you will see a separation between the two vessels. I know that is a vagus nerve schwannoma. What does a sympathetic schwannoma do? It is a posterior structure, so it displaces both the internal carotid artery and the internal jugular vein anteriorly, and it displaces them together. It does not separate them, it displaces both together. So simply by what it does anatomically, I am able to predict what is going to be what. I don't care what it looks like, because with this topic, this lecture is simply anatomical basis for these diagnoses. So here we are. Carotid body tumor, you can see the bifurcation within the crotch of that tumor. I am not interested how vascular it looks, how many AV shunts there are inside it, because I have made the diagnosis. I am interested in that AV shunts and Doppler if I am doing pre-surgical sclerotherapy to close down some of the vessels so that the surgeon can safely operate. But the diagnosis is simply made by where that bifurcation is within the tumor. So the moment you see the bifurcation within the tumor, solid mass at the crotch of the carotid bifurcation, you know this is a carotid body tumor. Now let's have a look at this transverse scan. Let's see what it does. Stop there. Common carotid artery, internal jugular vein over there, there's a mass over there. I'll run it again. A mass that insinuates itself between the common carotid artery and the internal jugular vein, as you can see. At that location, I don't care what it looks like. I know this is going to be a vagus nerve schwannoma. If I do a sagittal scan, I'll be able to track that vagus nerve into that tumor there, and I know this is a vagus nerve schwannoma just by its location. So every single time when you are thinking of diagnosis, anatomy will be your first clue. Here it is. A vagus nerve schwannoma separating the carotid from the internal jugular vein. Cervical sympathetic schwannoma, a large mass, and you will see the vessels are displaced anteriorly, they are displaced together. This is a smaller one over there behind, and you can see it is separate from the vagus nerve. That is the vagus nerve over there. It is separate from the vagus nerve. As it grows, it will displace both these vessels anteriorly. So location, location, location. In the head and neck, it's all about location.